Morning, everyone. Oh, I can hear myself. How are we on this beautiful Monday morning? Just gonna wait a couple more minutes, let everyone in. Let's have a look at who's here. We've got Candy from South Africa. Hey, Candy. Hi, everyone. Andy's here. Carolina from Poland. Helena from France. Oh, so many people. Oh, Ma's here. Hi, Ma. I hope you've recovered from the 4 days of training as well as the French team. That was hectic. Yeah, it is. I can see it. It says live. Yeah, it says on my screen. It's got the red kind of dot on it. Yeah. Who else is here? Tuli's here. Hi, Tuli. Manuel. Hi, Manuel from Austria. Give it another minute and then we will get started. You try to say I should smile more. Do I look sad? Meh. Okay. Let's begin. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first cocktail hour of 2024. Super, super excited. Just a few housekeeping rules. If you have any questions, please put it on the chat box. And our lovely, beautiful Train, who's behind the camera, is going to read it out for me. Something that I'm doing very differently this year for our cocktail hour. In the past, I've given you sort of like my favorites, as well as like, my go-to cocktails. But this year, I thought a lot about, how can I make this a little bit more different? How can I make it a little bit more exciting? Essentially, the biggest difference, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on one look or a specific hair texture. And I'm going to give you my favorite go-to products and cocktails to create that texture. So today, for the full hour, I'm going to take you through my favorite curl texture go-tos and products that I'm going to use. So I think I really kind of thought about, how can I make this a little bit more dynamic? How can I make it a little bit more interesting for you guys behind the camera? And I think using curls, I think a lot of the time we forget, or some hairdressers are very sort of reluctant on creating curls or how to maintain curls. But today I'm going to take you through my go-to products as well as how we can sort of maintain that curl at home for the client. So, the type of products you should be recommending for your clients, but the type of products you should be using when you're in the salon. So that's what I'm going to go through today. Just to give you a little preview of what the model looks like. This is our model for today. So we've got very coily hair. Yeah. Now, the trick and the technique I'm going to teach you is something I learned ages ago, back when I lived in LA in West Hollywood. I think that was like 6, 7 years ago. And I realized that when I lived in Australia, we were very sort of we didn't have a lot of I didn't have a lot of curl clients. I had probably the odd one or two or a handful of curl clients that I looked after. But I never really understood curl until I went to America, because I think in America, you know, they have so many different types of curl patterns, so many different types of hair patterns. It wasn't until I went there and I learned how to really look at curl and really, you know, how to style curl. So I'm going to take you through that. But before we begin, what's more important is we talk about prep and how we can prepare your curls and prepare the hair in order to create a really beautiful, long-lasting hold on the curl, but also to create, you know, less frizz in the curl and to really lock in that type of texture. So in order for us to prepare the hair, we need to look at the type of curl that we're doing. So for this model here, I have very, very coily hair. Yeah, almost like, it's, well, not almost, but it's proper ringlets. Yeah. You'll see one side is a lot more defined, which is this side here, and the other side, which is a little bit more ringlety. Yeah? And I'm gonna show you how we can sort of go from this to this, but essentially we need to look at the type of curl that you're working on, whether it's you know, medium to fine, medium to thick, or medium to coarse as well. This type of curl is more on the thicker, coarser side. So for me, it was really essential to really look at it and go, okay, I need to put a lot of moisture back into the hair. And I need to put a lot of hydration, but also remove as much frizz as I can in the hair. So you're gonna start off with your shampoo, which is your deep clean. Yeah. What you want is you want a beautiful clean canvas to start off with. Okay. A beautiful clean canvas means we can add all these beautiful products on top without weighing the hair down. Yeah. So start off with your deep clean, shampoo twice with deep clean. What's really beautiful about deep clean, as you guys know, you have your orange oil that's in this, as well as your lavender oil. So remember, your orange oil is what's going to cleanse the scalp. And then your lavender oil is what's going to stimulate. And then you have papaya extract. So that's papaya that's going to condition and add shine to the hair. I think what's really beautiful about this is you can use this daily as a clarifying shampoo without overstripping the hair of its, you know, of its goodness, as well as its, you know, natural oils as well. And I think the one thing you don't want when you're working with curls is just stripping the hair too much of its natural oils, of its natural sort of condition. You almost would just want to remove excess product and excess oil on the scalp. Well, who was that? Said something. Good morning from National Beauty. Hi, guys. Good morning, Ireland. Guys, give it up for Ireland. They just did an incredible show, a big, massive show with all their brands, which was so much fun. I think it took me a good couple of days to recover from that party. Okay, so once you've cleansed the hair, squeeze as much of that extra moisture and extra water in the hair. And when you squeeze water out, you want to use just a dry towel. Trinh, do you mind just passing me a dry towel, please? Thank you. Once you squeeze all that water out, you're going to follow through with your miracle mask. If you haven't used this, I highly suggest that you use this on yourself. It is so moisturizing and hydrating. Yeah, it's super, super intensive. So it's really there designed to hydrate and nourish not just the hair, but also the scalp of your clients. So don't just think that this is just for the hair and you apply it on the hair. You're going to actually use this on your scalp as well. Yeah. Rosemary is what's going to nourish the hair, as well as your aloe vera, which is very, very deep conditioning. And then you also have your jojoba seed oil, which will strengthen the hair as well. Yeah. So what I like to do if I'm working with curls is you got to make sure that you section the hair. Yeah. Don't just apply the product on the top surface. You need to section that hair. Once you've sectioned that hair, apply, depending how thick or how coarse the hair is, I'd probably apply about that much onto the hair. And what you want to do is really emulsify it before you apply it onto the hair. Yeah, not that much. Once you've done that, you're gonna need your wide tooth comb. And you need a basin wide tooth comb. So a wide tooth comb that you can use on the basin, just something like this. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen this before. If you don't have this in your salon, make sure you order them. Because they're really good for detangling the hair at the basin. Once you've done that, move on to your next section. Apply the same generous amount, and don't go too shy on this, because for me, if you're working on very thick, coarse hair, this can really help in really nourishing it. So don't be afraid. And again, comb it through. So you really want to be combing that hair through. Once you've done that, if you want to add, like, let's say, another luxury step in the salon, you can wrap the hair in a hot towel for this. That way, you can actually, charge for, let's say, an intensive treatment. Another way you can also do is if you can also finish off with your Miracle Booster. So once you've rinsed that off, finish off with your Miracle Booster, and then finish off the actual treatment service with that. Yeah. Once you've done that, you want to really squeeze as much of that water out of the hair. And when you're squeezing that much water, like, you want to be as gentle as possible. Essentially, what you want is you don't want to disturb the cuticle that's in the hair, especially when you're working with someone with very thick, coarse hair. You want to remove as much water without, reopening those cuticles. Yeah. Once you've done that, take the client back to the seat. And this is where now you're going to apply your next set of products. So just like a cocktail, what you've done is you have your first two bases, which is your deep clean, and then your miracle mask. Think of that as like your liquor. So like maybe your gin or your vodka. I don't even know what cocktail I'm making tonight. Maybe a martini. That's what we're going to do. Once you've done that, then you're going to add all the different other flavors into it. So your first one is detangle. Yeah. I think this is a product not many people get to use as often as I would like them to use. Yeah. I think, like, for me, this has so many rich benefits in it. It has your hair extract, which is which is condition the hair, but it's rich in antioxidants. So if you're working on curly hair, the most thing you want is as much antioxidant so that the hair doesn't reach out in the atmosphere to grab moisture, which creates frizz. Yeah. And then you also have rosemary extract in this, which will nourish the hair even more. And then you have nettle extract. So nettle, which a nettle seed, is found in Australia. Comes from like a very yellow, there's like this yellow flower in Australia, and that's the seed it produces. What it does, it actually makes your hair shinier, as well as moisturize your hair. Then you have yarrow flower, which is where the nettle comes from, and that helps soothe the scalp. So if you have clients that have scalp conditions, you have clients with, let's say, itchiness, dryness, make sure they use these as well. Yeah. So what you want to do, again, you want to be spraying this section by section. Don't just spray the top layer. This is going to help you seal that cuticle again so that the cuticle lays flat. Yeah. Because essentially what we want to make sure when we're working with curls is that we're really flattening that cuticle. Yeah. That way we get less frizz. Okay. Once you've done that, then that's where you go in and add our hero product, which is your miracle treatment. So a lot of the time people ask me, why not start with miracle first and then use the spray? For me, I want to remove as much of that frizz, as well as remove as much of that tangle that's in the hair after you've shampooed thick, coarse hair. And this is why I go in with this first. This has more, I find this detangles way more, and way more easily. I also want to help and soothe that scalp as well. Okay, so remember, now you can either go with your cream or you can go in with your spray. Yeah. Again, remember, there's no biggest difference is one is vegan, which is this one, and the other one is more in the spray. Yeah. In terms of its weight or the way we use it, it works exactly the same. It just comes down to your client wanting a spray or a cream. Yeah, but both will give you your heat protectant that we're going to need later on. So for me, again, section the hair, I will use, so for this thickness of hair, I will use about a lot. It's not that much. Don't be afraid, because remember, this is super, super lightweight as well. It's not going to weigh the hair down. Unless I'm working with someone with fine hair, then I'll probably only use 1 to 2 pumps of this. But remember, this has your desert lime and also has your kwandong, which are 2 ingredients found in Australia. Yeah, and what they're going to do is really hydrate and nourish the hair. And then you have your wattle seed again, which will create a lot of moisture and shine, but also for this case, it's going to add more strength and protein to the hair. Yeah. So right now, at the moment, you have your deep clean, you have your miracle, you have your detangle spray, and then you have your miracle treatment. So that is all your layering product that you put together. Yeah. This is kind of like, think of this as your prep or preparation to ensure that the curl is super, super highly hydrated. Because if the curl isn't hydrated, we're not going to get that bounce that we want. What you really want when you're enhancing someone's curl or enhancing the bounce of a curl, you want to make sure that it's super hydrated. That way, we're getting all that bounce. Now, from here, we're going to finish off with the last step of your prep product, which is we're going to finish off with your curl cream. Where's my curl cream? Yes. Yeah. So this is the last layering step, which is your curl cream here. Yeah. So remember your curl cream, what you want to do again, I'm going to show it, I'm going to demo it on the mannequin head, but what you want to do is do this section by section again. Yeah. You don't want to just apply it onto your hand and then do the most top layer of it. It's not going to work. When you're working with thick, coarse hair, medium to thick, you want to section this by section. That way you distributing the product evenly. Yep. I will, for this amount of hair, for each section, I will use that much. Now, for some people that may seem a lot, but trust me, when you have working with hair like this, you're gonna need it. Yeah. So that ends the layering process. Yeah. By now, your hair, the hair of the mannequin hair or the client's hair, should feel somewhat super hydrated. You'll be able to feel it. It feels very silky. It feels very soft. You can really run your hand through it. Like it's so easy to run your hand through it. This doing it this way will make it a little bit more easier for you when you start coiling the hair and when you start actually enhancing that curl. Yeah. So I'm gonna bring up my mannequin head and I'm gonna quickly switch camera so you guys can see, because I don't know if you can see the difference on your screen, but I want you a close up on how this looks from here and how it differs from this side. So I'm just gonna quickly do this. Bear with me 1 second. Working? Let's try that again. Okay, this was more working this morning, so bear with me again. Okay, this doesn't seem like it's working, so I'm gonna have to just pull the mannequin head a little bit closer to you guys so you can see the difference. Okay. So you can see how one side is super ringlety. Yeah. And then you have one side that is more defined, but a bit more looser and has bit more body and volume to it. Yeah. So this side, can you see how it's more like sausages? Yeah. This is where you want to head to first before you start breaking it down this way. But I think what you'll notice as well, if I stand back, you don't see any frizz whatsoever in the hair. And if I run my hand through it, it runs right through without tangling. But also, when I run my hand through it, it's not frizzing. Yeah? Yeah, cool. So I'm gonna take down this top section. Yeah. And you're going to need you're gonna need a spray bottle. And what you want to do is wet this down completely. You want to start off wet. Go. And then I'm going to grab my wide tooth comb. Remove any tangle in the hair. Yeah. I'm going to go through, spray my detangle. And again, I'm going to do this by section. Yeah. And comb it through. And then I'm going to follow through with our miracle. I'm going to use the cream for this because I don't know why, but I always go back to the miracle cream. I just find, maybe because it's the original, it's my favorite, but it's also the smell that I love. So again, work that through till the very, very tips of the hair. Comb it through. Beautiful. Once you've done that, you're going to grab your curl cream. Stand this way so you can just see it a bit more. All right, you're going to grab your curl cream. That one there. You can see I'm going to section this off. And I'm going to apply a very generous amount of this. Much. Yeah, onto this head of hair. A bit. Yeah. And work it into the hair. Comb it through. Team, if you have any questions, please write it onto the chat. Don't be shy. I know it's Monday morning. Okay, next section. Again, I'm going to use my curl cream. I'm going to need a little bit more. When you're working with hair this thick in this coarse, don't be afraid to really layer that product through. Because once you dry it, you actually don't feel the product. Because all I'm doing is adding moisture into the hair. Yeah. The hold will come after, and I'll show you my favorite technique when I want hold on curls like this. I used to use volume foam to create some curls, but I'm using something different now. Little combo that I'm going to show you later. Okay, from here, you're going to need a tool, one of these. So a Denman brush or a vented brush, some people call it. If you do not have one of these, you can use a paddle brush. Yeah, the 11 straight paddle brush. You can use that. What you want to do, so I'm going to split this in half. If I can lower her head down. Go. So you want to grab that section you're working on, comb it through. Well, in this case, brush it through with the Denman brush. Yeah. And you want to use this like you're using, let's say, a curling iron where you're curling the hair. Okay. So I'm going to go through, come in, twist away from the face. Yeah. All I'm doing is twisting that hair. Don't forget to seal the ends. So then what you're left with is almost like this sort of sausagey, twisty, almost ribbon-like curl. Yeah. You want to keep going with that. In, again, and twisting. And this is something you can teach the client that they can do when they're at home to maintain their curl as well. And I always find what I learned when I was in America is that you have to allow time when you're working with curls. I think as hairdressers, we never give enough time to our curly hair clients, because then from here, you need to allow time to actually let this dry. So whether you're diffusing or you can put it under a hood dryer, you need to give it some time to actually process. So I'm just working again. So you can see I'm basically using this like a curling iron or a tong. Someone asked. Train asked, can you use the paddle brush so I can people can see? I was like, okay, sure. Where's Ma? I mean, this would be perfect for Ma's hair. You should have stayed another day, Ma, and then you could have done your hair. Okay. So I'm gonna show you with a paddle brush, working exactly the same. I guess the biggest difference is I have more control using a smaller brush, like a Denman brush, than I find with this, but it works exactly the same way. So I'm gonna just come in. Yeah, exactly the same. You can see my sausage there. Yeah, we do that again. I think once I get to this part of the head, I will twist up towards the ceiling. This way, I'm getting body and volume. Yeah. Now, if your client doesn't want that body and volume and they want it to lay flat, so then just brush and comb the hair flatter. So you want to sort of go towards the part line. Oh, get closer. Last piece. What was that? Easy crowd. Trina said you guys are the easy crowd. It's probably because it's Monday morning. Okay. I'm gonna come in again. Yeah. You can see all these beautiful coils that are working in their hair. Yeah. But if you compare it to one side, so this is the side I've already finished and done, you can see how. Let me move this closer. Yeah. So what we want to do with this now is be able to separate it. Yeah. But before you separate this so that it looks more something like this, where it's looser, yeah, but still defined, you need to dry it. So what you're going to need is a diffuser, one of these. And something I teach when working with curls is do not touch it while you're drying, as in literally do not touch it as you're drying. What you want is you want to maintain as much of that movement and curl as you're drying. You don't want to be, and I see this a lot, people will kind of have their diffuser going and they're touching it like this and they're, really exaggerating the movement and the curl. You want to do that. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. If you want it really super big and frizzy. Yeah, but for this, I don't want that frizziness. I want a lot of detail in the curl. I want each curl to have its own movement. I also want each curl to be super, super defined without any frizz. The only way to do that is obviously with the products, but when you're drying, leave the hair alone. Do not touch it whatsoever. Nope. So Train just asked, would this method be only workable on coily hair like this? Or let's say type C, type 3 hair? No. For me, this technique works for any type of curl. Even if you have waves in your hair and you want to enhance it, you can still use this technique. Thanks for the question, Train. Very nice. Oh, it was a Joe. Oh. Hi, Joe. Hope you're well. I'm keeping up with Married at First Sight. I just watched the episode last night. It was so good. Okay, so we're gonna turn my blow dryer on and let me know if you can still hear me. So I will put this on high heat, but I want the speed to be quite low. Yeah. So the air that's flowing, I want this to be as not subtle, but I want it to be as controlled as possible. And that is the trick to this. Essentially, if your airflow is literally going everywhere, I'm going to create more frizz. Yeah. Another thing is, if you're going to be working with curls, I highly suggest that you invest in a great or really good diffuser. It'll change your life. Sometimes you find the diffuser that comes with just normal blow dryers, they really don't do the job. I find the air when the air comes out is not as controlled as this as well. Yeah. So what you want to do, as I mentioned before, do not touch the hair. If you need to have your hair at the back of your hair, if you need your hand, place them at the back of your back so that you're not touching the hair. Yeah. And what you want to do is pretend that this is a hooded dryer and you're the hooded dryer and you're just placing that heat until the hair is dry. Yeah. Yeah. Do not touch it whatsoever. The moment you start touching this, essentially what you're doing is you're drying what was happening while you're touching the hair. So if I'm touching the hair and I'm causing friction and I'm causing the hair to separate and I'm causing the hair to frizz up, I'm drying that in. Essentially what I want to dry it like this first before I disrupt it. Yeah. So you want to dry it till about 80 to 90% dry. And what you'll notice as well with hair like this that is very thick and coily, and it actually dries very quickly, I find. That's already dry. Amazing. So good. Upside down. So if I need more body, then I would just either tip the client upside down. So Train just asked how would we dry it if I want more body and volume. Either tip the client completely upside down or on the back and create that root lift, essentially. Thanks, Train. Or what I like to do is when I know that the hair is almost completely dry, like 80%, when I can touch it, I will grab my finger underneath and then create a root lift. Oops, create a root lift. Yeah. So think of my hand as clipped and I'm literally creating that lift. Yeah. So you can see already I have that lift. Yeah. So again, don't touch it. Once it's 80% dry, then you can come in with your hand. And if you need that lift, put it in there. Just be careful not to burn the client's face or the mannequin head. Yeah. All right. Now, once the client's head is done, this is where you're going to detail and create, a personalization, basically. So just like any styling that you do in a salon, whether you're doing waves or curls, you want to personalize it to the client. Yeah. So what I want to do, see how I have all these beautiful lifts through there? So much volume body. What you want to do is you want to now separate most of these curls. So you can see the difference on this side, how I have more body, yeah, more roundness as well. This is just flat. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because you can see the difference. This is very, very coily on this side. And then this side is more separated and looks more natural as well. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to grab a pair of clips. Obviously the 11 Australian ones. What you want to do is very gently just lift the hair from the underneath. And you don't want to disturb what you've done already on top. Yeah. Just very lightly, just clip the hair. Yeah. Now, if you want, you can add a little bit of serum, anti-frizz serum, yeah, onto your hands. About a pump, nothing more. Yeah. And you want to adjust. I like to put them both on both sides of my hands. It's more of a personal preference, but I find it distributes the product a little bit more evenly because what you'll notice is as I grab, I'm just going to separate the two, yeah, and just use the serum and work the serum through. You can see now these curls. Yeah, see that? That's what we want to see. Yeah. So before we have more of like something that's a little bit more coily and a bit more sort of really, really sort of coiled together, we want to separate that. Yeah. So what we want to do is really just using our anti-frizz serum. Yeah, there you go. What you'll notice is a lot more separation in the curl. However, there's no frizz happening whatsoever, and mainly because we have prepared the hair in order for that to actually not happen. I always find when you're dealing with coily hair, when you're dealing with type C hair, you have to prepare it. You have to really understand where the hair is going, whether it's twisting one way or whether the other way. The more you play with, the more you practice with a hair this type, and you'll start to see the different nuances in each layer and each curl. Yeah. So I'm gonna again grab. I'm gonna add a little bit more serum in my hand. You can see a piece here that's very chunky. I'm just gonna separate that. Yeah. Again, I'm just using my hands. Yeah. So you can see now I'm starting to build more body and more roundness and more weight. Yeah, I'm building width now, this is what we want to see. There you go. And this moment here, this is where a lot of your time, you probably take most of your time, is to really detail. What you don't want to do when you're working with coily hair like this, or whether when you're working with curls, you don't just want to like dry it and go, okay, you're done. See you later, bye. The client can do that. I can do that at home, but for you to really help and detail and show them how to actually do this, they'll love you forever. Because you not only you're creating, you're giving their curls a bit of life and a bit of movement, and it's not just a static curl. I'm gonna keep going. Apply a little bit more in my hand. You can see now I'm really starting to build body weight and width. Sorry, not weight, width. Last few sections. When you start doing this on like an actual person with um, natural curls, not all of them will sort of spiral all at the same way. This mannequin head we've permed, so that's why everything's going the same way. But when you're working with actual hair like this, you'll have areas that want to spiral one way, areas that want to go the other way. So you kind of just want to work with where the curl actually wants to go. And this, I can see where I'm going. Beautiful. So you can see even in that front how defined that is. What do you think, Train? You love it. Maybe we should do your hair like this. Uh, what do you guys think of this look so far? Are you loving how we're doing curls today? Instead of just, my typical, let's do a wave. A little bit more. I think we have a question. Oh, no. Joe. Joe. Say that again. No, I haven't really named it. It was more kind of like, I think I found it was more like an accident kind of thing. And then the hair just felt really beautiful when I did it. Can't remember where I did it. I was in a country somewhere where the hair was just super hot, dehydrated. And I thought, what if I do the miracle treatment first and then do my booster just to finish it off? And it just worked really well. Another thing I learned, you know how a miracle booster you can't do before a color service? Oh, you can't do after a color service? Um, our brand artist, Nico from Finland, actually uses the miracle booster before he tones, before he colors. So after the lightning service, he'll wash and then do a booster, rinse it off, and then put the treatment on top. It still works because we're not doing it after a color service. And if you want to get more in like the science level of it, the hair is still sealed after because you're using your color lock spray after. So you were gonna say something? Nope. What should we name it? Give me some ideas. Look at these curls. You can see all this beautiful body now forming, and I do not see any frizz whatsoever. Look at that. So you can see the difference when we first started this morning, how this side was very flat, but you can see now I have all these beautiful body and volume in the hair. Yeah. Now, once you've done that, I'm gonna give you a little close up. I wish the other camera was working so you can really see it up close, but just close up. Yeah. So can you see how beautiful and defined each curl is? Yeah. But that's not where we're going to finish off. We're not going to stop there. Now we need to seal it. We need to seal everything in to make sure that any other humidity or any moisture isn't going to get into that hair. So we really need to protect this, because essentially what you want when you have clients with curly hair, you want them to be able to wear that curl for, let's say, 3-4 days. Yeah. And then I'm going to show you what I like to use to refresh the curl, let's say on day 3 or day 4. But you are now going to need some frizz control shaping cream. Here's this one here. Now, in the past, I would actually add I want body volume foam into this and then scrunch it through. But now, this is my favorite combo. Oh, you're going to need frizz control shaping cream and then medium hold styling cream together. So I'm going to apply much into the hair. And then this much of my medium hold. So essentially what I'm doing is adding hold to my frizz control shaping cream. Because remember, this has no hold whatsoever. This is purely just to remove as much frizz as we can, as much as possible. Yeah. What's going to happen is the beeswax that's in the medium hold will fuse with the frizz control shaping cream, giving me anti-frizz, but with hold. Now, what you want to do is mix it all together and really mix it together. See that? That's what you should have. Now, when I place this on the hair, what you're going to see is white residue. Do not be scared. This is what I want to see. Can you see that? Yeah, that's completely fine. Do not panic. Just do not panic. Keep working with it. I'm going to add a little bit more. I wish you could feel how the hair feels once it's completely settled and dried, because again, you may feel like this is a lot of product, but you're not feeling hair. So again, I'm just going to work it through and scrunch. Yeah, you can see all that white residue. Do not be scared, because what you want to be doing is just keep working the product in. Now that you're completely dry, as you keep working that product through, that white residue should start disappearing. Yeah, and I'm just scrunching. Let me just put it this way so you can see. Yeah, you can see now that white residue has settled. Yeah. Essentially, what that white residue is just the two creams forming together. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Okay. You can see now, I have all these beautiful defined curls. She kind of looks like Diana Ross. I love it. So, I have all these beautiful defined curls with no frizz, right? So now from here, you can just leave it as it is. But for me, I'm just going to grab my hands, my fingers, and just rake. Yeah. Just keep raking it. Just kind of keep separating the very, very ends, just to give me some more definition. Yeah. But what you notice is when you actually feel it, at first, you're going to feel that product. You're going to feel the two creams together. But as the day goes on, it will just sort of dissipate. Yeah. However, it's just sinking into the hair. Because if I feel it on this side, I feel absolutely nothing. Yeah. Oh, so nice. Okay. So I'm going to give you a quick recap. So remember, we started off with our deep clean shampoo, which is this one here. So make sure that you shampoo twice. Essentially, what you want to do is create a really good base or a really good canvas to start working on before you adding all of these beautiful products onto the hair. Yeah. Once you've done that, you're going to follow through with your miracle hair mask. Yeah. Make sure you do it section by section and you really work it into the hair. Oh, I forgot to mention, make sure you leave it on for at least 10 to 15 minutes for it to do its actual job. Yeah. If you don't, you're wasting product. I always like to say, if you're not allowing the product to do its thing, you're wasting it. Yeah. So make sure you tell your clients that. From there, you're going to spray your, detangle my hair. Yeah. And make sure that you really spray it section by section by section. Cool. Then follow through with your keep my curl. Oh, sorry, no, with your miracle. Then you keep my curl. So remember, this is your leave-in conditioner that's really going to help define the curl and hydrate the curl even more. Yeah. From there, you're going to use your brush, your comb, yeah, and you're going to twirl the hair into the brush and really work with it. Yeah. That way, what you're doing is, I find when you use your fingers, you can't get that really beautiful definition. But what's happening is if you use a comb or a brush, you're detangling at the same time. That way, there's less frizz in the hair as well. Yeah, and all of the cuticles are going on the same direction. Yeah. From there, you're just gonna let it dry. You can let it dry naturally, or use a hooded hair dryer, or you can use your diffuser. So remember, if you're gonna use a diffuser, that the diffuser is in high heat, low speed. Yeah, and you want a diffuser that really controls that heat direction and it's not going everywhere. That way you're not disturbing the cuticle of the hair. Essentially what you want is when you're drying, that you're letting the hair dryer do most of the work and you're not touching the hair, you're not lifting it, you're not causing unnecessary frizz in the hair. Yeah. Then from there, you saw me do my two favorite combos at the moment, which is medium hold and frizz control cream. So if you've never tried this, I highly suggest. Like, it's really perfect for people with very sort of medium to thick hair. If you really want to define the curls. If you have a client that is more on the medium to fine side, this would be a little too heavy on them. So instead, either ditch one or the other. So either use frizz control on its own, or you could finish this off with your total volume foam mousse. Yeah. Your I Want Body Volume Foam mousse. If you have another client with more medium fine hair, then you could just seal it with your smoothing out shaping cream. Yeah, just on its own. And you kind of just let it sit in the hair. Yeah. Let's say it's day 2 or day 3 and she's feeling a little flat. And that's when the frizz are starting to happen. It's starting to kind of become this frizz, out of control frizz mess. Get her to spray detangle or lethal spray. The biggest difference, one will have no hold, no crunch. This one will. Yeah. When you spray this on dry hair. So let's say it's day 3 and she's feeling a little sort of flat. Just get her or get them to spray each section. Yeah. So you want to don't just spray the top layer. You want to spray each section. Yeah. And this will reset everything. Yeah. Spray it through. Again, the biggest difference is one will really hydrate the hair, which is your detangle. One will be purely styling. And let's say they're wanting that sort of, they want to feel that product. This is where your sea salt spray will come in. Because of the salt, I find it will really help in not only putting the curls back into place, but remove as much of that frizz as possible. Now, and then just get them to do this section by section and then scrunch it through. They can let it dry naturally or they can blow dry, diffuse dry it in. Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. I love it. All right. So that brings us to the end of our first cocktail hour with me, Melvin. Yeah, thanks. I hope you guys enjoyed this beautiful little trick combo that I've done today. What's going to happen is I'm going to send you guys all of the products that we've used today so you can review them, have a read, and you can start using them on your client. Marianne, there's a question. So how much would this styling cost as a salon service? Obviously, it's a different in every country. For this, if the client's just coming in as a styling service, I would classify this as a blow dry service. Yeah, it just takes, it depends on the amount of time that you're doing it. When I was in the salon, this would maybe take from the wash basin all the way she's done, probably an hour, because I'm putting that in the hooded dryer. So it depends what you guys charge. But I would say this is a blow dry. If you're cutting the hair, when I'm cutting hair like this, I will never cut it wet. I will do all my drying, do all of this process, and then I'm going to cut and detail around the hair. Yeah. But that's a very, very good question, Marianne. Thank you so much. I'm going to stay a little bit longer if there's any other questions from you guys. If not, I will sign off. I want to say thanks to Train for setting up this beautiful space for me and the beautiful lighting. Join us for our next cocktail hour. And again, that one, I'm going to focus on something different. And we're going to focus on a different type of texture next time. But I hope you really enjoyed me going through my favorite way on creating curls and creating this beautiful texture. So thank you guys so much. And I will see you for our next one. Bye. Thank you.